Well, I want to know which coach you think was the most popular coach this past week, Diesel, at Big 12 Media Days. Welcome in the Wire to Wire. It's a Tolo Thursday. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. I'm out of breath because I just ran up the steps. So let me breathe real quick, Diesel. There we go. Out of shape, running up steps right before the show starts. When you leave, when you realize you leave your Phil Steele magazine in the car,
you were just
run down
and getting yourself in shape for the 40-yard dash.
I got a long way to go.
I know. Got to keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Long way to go and a short time to get there. Welcome into the show. Let's talk Big 12 to start the show today. I want to know from you, Diesel. This is a tongue-in-cheek, not really trick question. Which coach do you think was the most popular coach? Which coach's quarterback, ex-quarterback, was in the news for the, past 2 months of college football or the past 2 months of the offseason? You want to guess? It's in the big state of what coach?
Texas.
There you go.
I'd be willing to bet that the lines were the longest to pull a question for Joey McGuire.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that? Like, I'm sure that Joey McGuire and the questions that were brought on to him this past week at Big 12 Media Day, I'm sure they were a bit annoying, Diesel, because you think about it, Joey McGuire's quarterback's not there, and this is a team that has had all kind of drama surrounding their program and ex-quarterback in the last few months. Is it out of line, though, for reporters to ask about the former quarterback? I don't necessarily think so.
No, it's one of the biggest sports stories of the last couple of years, right? I mean, this was weeks of us with something brand new coming out from this every single day. The institution took their hardline stance. The NCAA took their hardline stance. Lawsuits were being threatened back and forth and back and forth. I mean, this was a soap opera for sports fans for a couple of weeks. Of course, people have follow-up questions to this.
No, it is interesting, the Brendan Sorsby's development. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. How many times will this conversation continue, Diesel? Jordan Rogers of ESPN was at Big 12 Media Day, and they talked about it this morning. Brett Yormark talked about Texas Tech, and Jordan Rogers talked about the recent Brendan Sorsby developments after attending Big 12 Media Day. He was on ESPN's Get Up this morning and had this to say.
Jordan, how do you hear the commissioner, the interaction, and everything that's going on right now with this Brendan Sorsby saga?
Well, I wasn't surprised by the question and maybe even the reaction by Yormark, because if you've been to these media days, every one of these media members kind of has their story already written. They're waiting for that one little sound bite. So that was a very pointed question to get a very pointed reaction. But here's the thing. Are we still trying to pretend that the NCAA has any kind of power at all? Right? Is the Big Ten going to start going after Indiana? Because Sorsby was there gambling. He admitted to gambling there as well. I mean, I just don't think it matters at this point. Texas Tech tried to play or wanted to play Sorsby knowing this. They're the ones that should have been gone after. The Cincinnati stuff, that's a moot point. The Indiana stuff, that's a moot point in my opinion now. I think it was the league was rightful to go after Sorsby and Texas Tech. That played out the way it should. He's not going to be on the football field. Let's move on.
Wouldn't it have been a good idea, Diesel? You know how sometimes growing up, I mean, I never did this, but if you had a big test in school, you just so happened to get sick the day before, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how those acute symptoms can come on.
Wouldn't it have been a good idea for Joey McGuire just, man, I feel something coming on here this week. I don't want to get anyone else sick. I'm not going to attend Big 12. Would he have gotten in trouble for that if he didn't show up and blamed it on? I mean, just imagine.
He should have pulled a Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
And respond to every question of that. Every single question.
Texas Tech did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I think this is interesting, man. This is a conference that, we don't talk about a ton, Diesel, like during the course of the season, but the Big 12's dominated the past few years when it comes to national championships. But I don't know when you look at like what was said, and we'll get into some of the things that were said this week at Big 12 Media Days, but when you just look at this conference as a whole, you have Texas Tech, who's now Sorsby-less, right? Mm-hmm. You have BYU, who's meh. Utah's been good, but they haven't been a power lately. Houston's been good, but they haven't been a power. I think this is one of those conferences, Diesel, where you just kind of struggle to pinpoint what the strengths are of this conference.
You know who they remind me of? They remind me of the ACC if they didn't have Clemson in it for the last decade.
Ugh.
Take Clemson out of the ACC, right?
No.
Nobody is really the big dog in the room. So you're talking about these teams like you'd be talking about the additions of Miami prior to making the CFP in their run this past season. You're talking about Virginia Tech not really ever having done anything. Syracuse never really did anything. Louisville never really did anything. Not on a consistent and a national scale.
Yeah, there's one-hit wonders.
Yeah, you got a bunch of okay programs, and nobody's really good enough to step up and take the reins and become the dominant force. And that to me is the biggest sort of pitfall of letting Texas and Oklahoma go is everybody wants to step up and be the big dog until they have to step up and be the big dog. And then they don't really have the systems in place to do it. And that's the only reason why Texas and Oklahoma were so good at doing it every year, because they were the only ones who had the systems to do it.
They were the only ones. And you know what? Since, to your point there, since those two programs have left the conference, nobody's really stepped up and taking the reins.
Right.
I mean, like I said, Utah's had a good season. TCU under Sonny Dykes, they've had good seasons, and Houston's had good season. But I mean, there's just no. And Baylor, I mean, look how far Baylor's fallen off. Baylor used to be a proud, respectable program, and they are not any good anymore. But let's just face it, they're not any good anymore. They're not.
So who should the powers of that conference be? Probably Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Texas Tech should be with the oil money and that kind of NIL
but
stuff.
They're still kind of an upstart program to the national scale. They were always they pop up every now and again, and they're okay when you got Michael Crabtree and but obviously when you got Patrick Mahomes, but then
oil money though, why aren't them in Houston at the top of the conference? You know what I mean?
Good question.
I mean, that oil money, Diesel, you're right. It does take time, and they are new, to the scene there. But Texas Tech and Houston should be infused. Like you go to the doctor and get a shot, and boom, in a few hours you're feeling better. They should be infused with oil money in a year. And Texas Tech, give them credit. They have done that. Their quarterback's not there, so I don't know how good they'll be in 2026, but they have done that. To answer your question, I mean, I'm just going to go easy. You got TCU. You got TCU right there in the heart of oil country. I mean, and what else you've got Texas Tech, Houston, and TCU. Any other Texas schools? Baylor. There's 4 Texas schools in the Big 12, and they all are, I mean, when it comes to the national, the national stage.
It really does beg the question, what makes the Blue Bloods so special in the sense that, when they have down years, they can figure out a way. They're still a big deal, right? They're still a big draw.
Still the brand.
But it's something that for whatever reason, the Baylors and the TCUs and the Texas Techs, especially the Baylor and the Texas Tech and the Oklahoma State, they couldn't just fill the vacuum. They couldn't just say, okay, the air up here is gone. We're going to move up and we're going to gobble it up. They never could. They haven't been able to.
No, and that's why I think this conference is interesting. And the fact that, to your point, there's not that one or two dominant team or teams. Yeah, they would like to have that. But I think from the perspective of, hey, there's intrigue here, you just really don't know who's going to win it. And I think there's an interesting aspect to that.
I do love the juxtaposition of a conference now that doesn't really have any blue bloods. Everybody's trying to figure out who wants to step up and be the man on this block versus the SEC, which is a conference that's almost entirely comprised of blue bloods. Yeah. And now you got those fans having to figure out how to deal with maybe not being the tippy top dog of a conference anymore because it's so tough and everyone's good.
I just don't understand it. You've got, how many did I say? How many Texas schools? Texas Tech, Houston, TCU. You've got Baylor. You got 4 Texas schools, and then Oklahoma State, 30 minutes away from TCU, just a little bit north. Why aren't those schools, those 5 schools? And again, I know Texas and Texas A&M, they have different resources, but they're in the same state. I'm not seeing every Texas school, including North Texas, should be dominant in football, but you talk about money, and you talk about oil money,
Yeah.
Diesel, it is a draw. I mean, you're talking light years difference between money and oil money. And I don't know, what's the reason? I guess is what I'm getting at. What is the reason the Big 12 isn't better consistently year in and year out? I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal one. It's why. Maybe it's because Cole, like I said, everybody now has to figure out how to take that next step. It's just not a given that you're going to take the next step and you're going to be that good. Like I said, something in the water in Austin, Texas, and something in the water in College Station, Texas has made those programs not better. It's not the word I want to use. It's more consistent and on a different level than the Texas Techs of the world. It's not just money.
No,
it's not just money. I don't know if it's generational. I don't know if it's cultural within the state of Texas.
I've got one.
I don't know what it is.
What if it's this? And we're going to get to what was said at Big 12 Media Days here in a second. What if it's coaching? I'm just saying, like, does the Big 12 have the best coaches? You got Brett Breenan in Arizona. Kenny Dillingham. I think Kenny's a good coach. Arizona State, right? The Kalani at BYU.
Yep, Kalani Sitake.
Scott Satterfield, who's not a bad coach, but he's not like a blue
I think
blood.
He's on his way out.
Okay, might be. We talked about that yet, right? Dion, who's been irrelevant since his son and Travis Hunter left the program.
Yep.
Willie Fritz at Houston. Jimmy Rogers at Iowa State. Diesel, most of these names people in our listening audience don't know.
Sonny Dykes,
Lance Leipold, Colin Klein, Eric Morris, Joey McGuire, Scott Frost, good coach. Morgan Scally or Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia.
It feels like a conference of coaches that have tried their hand at other schools.
Yeah.
And this is their fallback. It feels like a fallback conference. And it feels wrong to characterize it as such.
Yeah, but who's what? But let's ask the question: what good coaches are in the conference?
This is the conference that you're either in as a stepping stone to an SEC or a Big Ten school, or this is your step down from an SEC or a Big Ten school.
And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying they're not good coaches. These guys will have forgotten more football than I'll ever know. I don't want to make it sound like I know more than they do, but like in terms of elite coaching, do you look up and down that list and see elite coaching anywhere in the conference?
No. you don't have, like I said, you don't have the names that are making everybody go, whoa. And anytime somebody does something really, really good, let's pull a name out of that hat there. Let's talk about Joey McGuire. You'd have to talk to somebody who knows Big 12 football and say, is he the best coach in the conference?
Sure.
Possibly. I mean, he's had the most recent success. But you're telling me, Cole, that if Oklahoma fired Brent Venables and they called Joey McGuire, he wouldn't leave Texas Tech like that for Oklahoma?
Yeah, he would.
You telling me if he got the opportunity to coach at Ole Miss, or if he got the opportunity to coach at LSU or Missouri, he wouldn't take it? Maybe not Missouri, but
most SEC jobs.
I mean, there's half the conference, half the jobs, the best guy in the Big 12 would jump at the chance to go take that job.
Now, let's see here. Excuse me. Well, basketball-wise, they're pretty good. We know that. Basketball-wise, they're good. A pretty good conference. However, excuse me, Diesel, when you look at football, it's been 2005 since the last time the Big 12's claimed the college football national championship.
Gosh.
And we know who that team was that's now in the SEC in Texas. So outside of Texas, Big 12, they don't contend. I mean, they don't. Like I said, every few years these teams, and Texas Tech, give them credit, they were a really good team last year. Texas Tech was a really good team last year. Will they be this year? I think they'll be a good team this year. I think Texas Tech, even without Brendan Sorsby, Diesel, probably still win the conference. I mean, in that conference,
probably.
You know what I mean? Them and BYU, maybe. I think I will say, going back to the coaches, I think Kalani Sitake, how you say it?
Kalani Sitake?
Sitake, I think Sitake does a good job. I think he does a good job at BYU. It's a great fit there. I think he does a good job. I think BYU could finish second this season. But I definitely think that conference wide open, and Texas Tech probably still the favorite, even without Brendan Sorsby.
You're probably right. And that says something about the conference too, Cole, when you can take the highest profile player off of the best team, and you think that they're still good enough.
Let's look at what was said this week, Diesel, when it comes to Big 12 media days that just ended. Number one, Brett Yormark. Brett Yormark said the Big 12 is open for business. Commissioner Brett Yormark was aggressive in his message this week, Diesel. He continues pushing for college football playoff expansion while making sure the Big 12 remains one of the sports power conferences. He promoted the conference's new Monster Energy sponsorship. We talked about that.
$1 million.
Yeah, really. Calling it a major branding opportunity this past week at Big 12 Media Days. Yormark also emphasized growing the conference internationally after recent overseas events and games.
Oh, no.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
And Yormark also stressed, Diesel, that the Big 12 has become one of the deepest leagues in college football where almost every team believes it can compete for a championship.
The conference championship or a national championship?
Well, he didn't specify.
Because
maybe the conference championship.
I would tend to agree with him when he says a lot of schools here can compete for the Big 12 championship, but the national championship, yeah, right, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Storyline number 2, Deion Sanders in the headlines again. Didn't back down. He said, "We better win, and we're gonna win." Colorado enters the season, Diesel, after another roster overhaul. Deion said this team is tougher, more experienced, and better coached than previous seasons. He also praised his new coaching staff and athletic department leadership. I don't know if you've seen this in our handy-dandy Phil Steele magazine, where Phil Steele has Colorado predicted to finish.
15 out of 16. Yowza. We're going to get into Colorado a little bit later on in the show.
Good.
And ask the question, Cole, how much longer should Colorado tolerate Deion Sanders?
Yeah, and that's something that's interesting. We'll touch on it. Also, Kansas State, first-year head coach, and Colin Klein. Colorado, obviously, a big storyline when anytime Deion's in the room. Utah, who did I just tell you Utah's coach was now? Morgan Scally. And see, since I don't cover who retired, didn't Kyle
Whittingham went to Michigan.
Kyle Whittingham, that's right, went to Michigan, left Utah. So now Utah's in a first-year head coach, and that's an interesting story. Cam Rising, will he play? I don't know. Whittingham, you're right, took the Michigan job. I'd forgotten about that. Took some key players with him. That's the problem there with Utah. Utah has just, listen to this, 4 returning starters. You talk about saying something about this conference. Yeah. Phil Steele has Utah predicted to finish 3rd, and they have 4 returning starters on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a conference that nobody knows.
And this is where it gets a little tough to read Phil Steele's magazine this year because he's changed up his the way he presents the information. 4 returning starters on the offense, 3 of them are his own guys. 3 of them were with the team last year. That means only 1 starter who started at another school is coming in to transfer into this Utah program.
You know what? I like Kyle Whittingham. I think he did a good job. Was he the best coach in the conference before he left? Is that we just talked about who it is now?
You could say Joey? He was the most consistent.
I think so.
He's kind of like he'd kind of be like the Big 12's Kirk Ferentz.
I think so, and that's a loss for them. So it's gonna be interesting. Of course, you would leave. Going back to your point a minute ago, of course you'd leave a job in the Big 12 for Michigan, but it's just one of those things, man. It makes you wonder in this conference, what is the attraction? What is the draw? And obviously, it's still Power 4 programs, but it's a really baffling conference that's kind of hard to wrap your mind around.
Every conference has to figure out a way to fund itself and to make the kind of money that it wants to make. I think I've figured this out, Cole. When the SEC and the Big Ten, when their payouts get decided, when they negotiate new deals and you hear that it's ungodly amounts of money, $50,000, $60,000 per school per year, they're getting that based on their own merits, based on the eyeballs that they can draw.
Yeah.
The Big 12 doesn't draw the same number of eyeballs. Obviously, that's why their media payout isn't the same. They're trying to make up the gap, Cole, with private equity, with $1 million per school Monster Energy drink deals.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the things that the SEC doesn't have to do to get that money. Now, if the SEC wanted to get that money, they could gobble it all up in a heartbeat, right? Because they are the biggest dog on the block. But these other programs, these other conferences have to try to do some really creative things to get on the same financial level, which means they'll never be on the same financial level.
Let's go to the phone lines. Matt from Ohio wants to weigh in on the Big 12 conversation. Matt, what do you think, man?
Well, guys, great topic to start the show with. And, you guys provoked thought, and that's a good thing. And I was thinking about, what makes these programs consistently successful? Well, you can say, obviously coaching, and do they put guys in the NFL? You can talk about the TV presence, the alumni base, a rabid fan base. You can talk about facilities. You can talk about NIL. And I think all those things play a part. And you guys have mentioned pretty much everything. But then I started to think about Indiana, and being, from Ohio and being a Big Ten guy, Indiana didn't have a lot of that stuff.
No.
They don't really have a tradition like an Ohio State or a Michigan or an Alabama or a Clemson. They don't have a crazy alumni base. Now they do have NIL money through Mark Cuban.
And that's my point, Matt. That Mark Cuban NIL money, why can't Texas Tech and Baylor and those other Texas oil money schools, why can't they surge to the top of the Big 12 and to the top of the country that quickly like Indiana did? That's what I can't figure out.
Well, and I think you're right. And if you think about, I don't know if you guys ever saw that 30 for 30 special on the Pony Express or the death penalty. I don't know if you guys saw that with SMU.
Yep.
But that was one of my favorites as well. But one of the things that that basically that exposed was there was just a group of alumni that said, we're tired of losing, we want to win. Mm-hmm. And they were going to pay whatever it took to do it. And I agree with the oil money in Texas. I think, though, that maybe these dynasties better kind of be on notice, because Indiana, like I've told you guys before, man, in Big Ten country, they were a doormat when it came to football.
Yeah.
They got the right guy in the portal. They got the right guy coaching. I'm curious to see, and I think a lot of people are, is it sustainable for Indiana?
What happens when Mark Cuban says, I'm not going to do this for you every year?
Well, that's correct. And I mean, that's what I'm saying, is there's a lot of variables. And like you guys were saying earlier, you've got coaching, you've got facilities, you've got television exposure, you've got NFL presence, you've got NIL. There's a lot of ingredients in this recipe. And I don't think you need to have all of them, but you got to have most of them.
Yeah.
And maybe the Big 12 just lacks, some of the bigger or more important ingredients. But I don't know if I believe that we're ever going to see and I'm an Ohio State guy, so I'm a dynasty program. I wonder if the days of the dynasty with the portal and NIL, I'm wondering if they're over.
No, we've talked about that. I mean, they're definitely lessened. The dynasties are. I mean, you look at the parity lately, especially with the Big 12's dominance. The blue. We talked about this a couple of months ago. The blue bloods are still there, but what dynasty's out there right now? Diesel, Matt. I mean, what?
I think what makes you a dynasty right now is your ability to have sustainable, high level, tippy top level fundraising. And for the blue bloods, I think they've got that a little bit entrenched in their DNA.
Still being competitive enough to be in the conversation.
But for the schools that want to come up, the Indianas of the world, like I said, I mean, they're not going to get a massive cash infusion from a Mark Cuban every single year to be able to make this possible every single year, unless you get guys like Mark Cuban who will create investment funds specifically designed to pay your program with the dividends that they earn. Other than that, I mean, it's hard to ask somebody to give you $30 million every year in perpetuity.
Right. No, you're exactly right. And I feel like that's just one of the other. And sometimes these smaller programs are, like if you would have asked me in my lifetime, are you ever going to see Indiana win a national championship? I would have bet money no. And I would have probably even given you odds on them winning a Big Ten championship. So I mean, it's kind of like the Wild West. But I mean, maybe one of these Big 12 schools catches lightning in a bottle. I don't know. And to your point, I keep expecting an oil guy to get involved and say, hey, didn't they kind of do that I think you think about when they hired Jimbo Fisher, right?
Yeah.
And they hired Jimbo Fisher away from somebody, and everybody was talking about, the oil guys threw in a bunch of money to get Jimbo Fisher, and then somebody didn't the same guys give money to buy him out?
To buy him out and get rid of him. Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Matt, great stuff. Always appreciate your calls.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
You too. 844-326-3663. It's interesting, and maybe we're wrong in a few years, and the Big 12's on their way up. But, there's just nothing right now that points to them being consistent like the Big 12 is when it comes to championships. Or the Big 10, sorry.
It begs the question of all these big oil men in Texas. How many of them are already giving all their money to A&M? How many of them are already giving their money to Texas? And then if that's the top 1% of the top 1%, and all that money is going to College Station and to Austin, then you've still got Texas Tech. Even though it's a large sum of money, their pool is from a lower economic class, quote unquote, than what the A&Ms and the Texases of the world have.
And I agree with you on that. And the final thing I'll say is it's like Clemson or South Carolina or your local high school fundraising booster club that's trying to pull money, and this company's already spending money here, Diesel, and this company's already spending money here. But I just, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking this in my head, I just thought like the oil money in Texas, and maybe I've just watched too much Landman. I look at it as continuous, never ending, right?
Yeah.
And I know that's not the case always, and sometimes it may be, but you're right. There are a lot of different schools in the Oklahoma, Texas area that I'm sure are trying to get in the game on that.
When we come back, Cole, Lord Stanley's Cup has officially been etched with the names of the Carolina Hurricane players that won, with an asterisk next to it. This is a little bit weird, Cole, and I wonder, is there time to call up the engraver and undo what is causing a media firestorm around the Carolina Hurricanes? We'll talk about that next. Cole, if a team plays 82 games in a season and they win a title, and let's be real, we're talking about the Stanley Cup here. We're talking about the Carolina Hurricanes, 82 games total.
Mm-hmm.
A player who played 38 games for that team. Don't you think they deserve to have their name on Lord Stanley's trophy, to be enshrined forever on that trophy that's just going to keep getting handed out and more names etched into it again and again over the future?
Almost half the games, right? Almost half.
Almost half.
Yeah, I mean,
Instrumental part.
Especially if he or she, but especially in this case with a he, was an instrumental part. Now, if they were just, I don't know. I think my answer, regardless, is if they play almost half the games, yeah, they should be a part of it.
So does that player deserve to be on the trophy more than the owner's fifth child?
Yeah.
Because Tom Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, made the call, Cole, and he's the owner. His name should be on the trophy. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be on the trophy. Here. He put his wife,
no,
and he put 5 of his children's names on Lord Stanley's trophy before the entire roster. Think about that.
Oh my.
I mean, this is ludicrous here.
You've done this to me like 4 days in a row. Bring a story on the air that I don't believe is a real story. I mean, there's no way and his child's name's on the actual trophy.
They took up 2 full lines. 2 full lines of names, and each line usually contains about 3 or 4 names. But just so you got Tom Dundon, Varushka Dundon, you got Caden Dundon and Dax Dundon and Drew Dundon and Blake Dundon and Tegan Dundon. All of their names are on the list, on the trophy, before a single player who scored a goal, stopped a goal, coached the team, before any of those names are actually on there, Cole.
There's so many things wrong with that. A guy who contributed to the roster. It's not like he was. And you know what? Like, my whole thing with that is, I think that's a slap in the face.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, he played games, and his name. Do they have a limited number or?
It's not a limited number of names. It's the amount of space that they have available.
Well, right? Make a bigger trophy, Diesel.
It's got to fit into the block. So let me do this. Let me save this image on my phone.
Just make the trophy bigger. How's that hard?
And I'm gonna. Well, the trophy is getting bigger every single year. They have to add another. Not every year, but every couple of years, they have to add a new layer of trophy to keep adding more and more. That's what makes the Stanley Cup so cool.
I would request a trade.
So
I would request a trade. Get out.
That's the Stanley Cup. And the first 2 lines are the owner, his wife, and his 5 children. Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. Not even at the bottom. Not even at the bottom. And they're at the very top of this thing. Like, they are what did the children contribute to the Stanley Cup?
Not a thing.
Oh, my
Not
word.
A thing.
That's got to be ChatGPT.
His youngest child is 8 years old. So he's not like, it would be one thing if the Dundon children were like executives for
on
the team.
Staff or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Director of communications, the traveling secretary, anything.
Oh,
doesn't matter. His youngest child, Tegan, is, I take that back. His youngest child, Tegan, is 10 years old, and his kids range from 10
how old they
to 23. They're not a part of the organization. It's just 1,000% a vanity play by Tom Dundon, the owner.
Is there some sort of criteria by him where in order for your name to be on the trophy, you have to play a certain amount of time?
I don't think so. Not everybody on this list, even these players that are on this year's trophy, not all of them are players. A couple of them are staffers. Obviously, you put Rod Brendamore's name on there. He's the head coach. I would assume you put the assistant head coach, their name on there. I don't know who else some of these other people might be. They're all listed on there. They're not even listed in alphabetical order. I don't know how they chose to order these names, but this is ludicrous, Cole. And let's be real. This etching looks terrible. This etching looks really bad.
That's why I joked about it being ChatGPT. That's exactly what that looks like.
The trophy looks all scratched up. It looks all scuffed up. They have weird capitalizations and weird spacing errors. I mean, this looks like the first person to ever create a book using like a Guggenberg press, right?
That's embarrassing.
Like, it's just so bad across the board, and it's tone
what
deaf
would you do if you're
by
the
the
player?
ownership.
What would you do?
Oh, man.
I mean, like Dewey says, that guy should be fired.
There's room about halfway down. There's a name like Mike. I think it says Mike Brolin or something like that. Put his name next to Mike Brolin because there's a space over there. There's room.
Okay, let me
on
ask you
that
this
trophy
question.
to put this player's name who played 38 games for the Hurricanes.
And apologize for not knowing, but does a Lombardi trophy have no, it doesn't have every player. How about this? Put Carolina Hurricanes 2026. Wait, why do you even need every player?
But that's what makes it special.
It is special. I get it. It is special. It looks cool.
You have your name on the same trophy as Gordie Howe.
I get it.
They've all touched the same trophy. Wayne Gretzky has held this thing.
I get it.
Mario Lemieux has had it. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it great.
I understand. But make it bigger. Do something. Get with the NHL and say, hey, this thing's not big enough. We've got
Ludicrous.
It is. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. A kid being on the trophy.
Joel Nystrom is the player who played 38 games for the Hurricanes. Now, again, I like the Hurricanes. I'm a fan of the Hurricanes when they're doing something of note. I don't know if Joel Nystrom even finished the season with the Hurricanes. Doesn't matter. He was on the team as part of the run. His name should be on the trophy.
Should be
on the trophy.
Keyword should be. A quick update for you, Diesel. The Braves are about to blow a lead. The Braves are up 6-5, which it's good. You're on top of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and you had a really good win, like a dominant pitching performance last night. But right now, bottom of the seventh inning, the Braves had a few. I think they were up by 3 or 4 at one point, and the Pirates are just inching back. And the Braves, is that J.R. Ritchie? That's not J.R. Ritchie still on the mound, is he?
they're. It looks like, I mean, they've given him a long leash. He started this game, bottom of the seventh. He's still in it.
Oh, man. No. J.R. Ritchie, wait a minute. He came out of the pen.
In relief? Okay.
Yeah, he came out, which is weird because so you've got Bryce Elder who started. Bryce Elder didn't last long. He only went 4 innings, which this is weird. Listen to this. Elder went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits and 4 runs. There's your reason. Only struck out 3, so Bryce Elder was buns. Dylan Dodd came in, pitched 1 inning, was good. Surprised they didn't leave him in a little longer. Oh, dear Lord, please. Okay. Thank God they caught it at the wall there. However, that will move a runner up, I believe. And then now J.R. Ritchie comes in relief. So far, he's pitched 1 inning. Bottom of the 7th, 1 out. Pirates are up. I mean, they're a good team, not a great team. They're 47-46 right now, though. With the Braves, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who you play. You just want to win, get some of that confidence back. Here's what I want. I want some confidence back going into this weekend. Diesel, going into the All-Star break. If I'm a Braves fan, player, coach, right? Mm-hmm. I want to have a little bit of mojo. You won, and look, last night's win was mighty impressive. That pitching performance, that kind of reminded you, hey, the Braves still, they've got talent. Like, we hit the panic button, but they still got talent. If you can take 2 of 3 from the Pirates, then you have the Cardinals this weekend. See what you can do against the Cardinals team that's pretty good, 48-43. Let's see if we can get that mojo back.
So here's a little information for you about the Stanley Cup and it being etched, the names of the players that win. There is only one person, Cole, who engraves names on the Stanley Cup and has done so since 1989. Her name is Louise St. Jacques. She is an artist that works out of Montreal. So she's been doing it almost my entire life. You would think that she would be better at it than this, with all of the weird spacing, with all of the different capitalization sizes. They misspelled multiple names on this team.
No.
They misspelled 3 different names on this list.
That's embarrassing.
AJ Greer.
How do you misspell AJ Greer?
She spelled it AJ Gree. Gree.
Oh my!
They misspelled Mike Sondheim's name.
Okay, I understand that one.
They misspelled staff member. Well, she's also French Canadian, so she knows how to say these names, right? James Platten. He is a staff member who got his name on the trophy.
Yeah,
James Platten is missing the E, so it just says Plattn. It's a mess.
It is
an absolute mess.
That's an embarrassment to the league.
nobody decided to run this thing through a typo,
No.
spell check, nothing.
That's what I'm saying. It's embarrassing to the league. That is an embarrassment.
It's like she was writing them all down with one hand on her phone, just jotting down the names. And then it's like, yeah, I'll figure out how to spell them. It'll be fine.
By the way, and they just showed a wide shot, very sparse crowd in Pittsburgh. I know it's an early game today out in Pittsburgh, but a Pittsburgh team that's above 500, I mean, wolf crowd in Pittsburgh. O'Hearn is the new Braves pitcher, and the Bravos just turned a double play to end the 7th inning. Nice work, guys. Let's head to the 8th, Diesel, and see if we can get another win and win this series. We've got Travis Hancock, Mac and Bone Show coming up. He's going to continue our conversation from yesterday about Luke Kuechly and about Cam Newton that we had a lot of feedback on. We're continuing that with the expert himself, Travis Hancock at 422. However, in the very next segment, we talk about the Braves a little bit more in depth. Last night's dominant pitching effort, what the goal is going into the All-Star break here in just a few days, and how this Braves team can recuperate if you start the clock from now to 1 month, because that's what our guest said yesterday would be a good fix. What's the formula for the Braves to do so? We'll get into it next. Well, the Atlanta Braves are to the plate now. Ozzie Albies, who's 1 for 3 today, who had a big RBI double earlier in the game, Diesel, is to the plate for the Bravos. Top of the 8th inning, 2 outs already. I mean,
God, that was fast.
By the time he came back from commercial, already 2 outs. So not a great inning so far. Soto on the mound. He is new. He is in for the Pirates. He's at 7 pitches. The Braves lead 6-5. And let's see if the Bravos can crank one more out today and get a win.
Need an insurance run here.
Need a big run here. At least give us one more run to give us a little cushion. We talked to Sean Coleman yesterday of Battery Powered and SB Nation Diesel about the Braves, and I think he brings up so many good points. I think Sean just does a tremendous job in his in-depth knowledge of the Atlanta Braves. We asked him yesterday, if you remember, like if the Braves went to the doctor's office and they were given the timeline, what would a perfect world look like? And he said a month. So if you were to go fast forward to August 9th, go 1 month from today, August 9th's a Sunday, you're finishing up a series. You'll have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 series, maybe, Diesel, in the next month or so.
Okay.
Seeing what this Braves team organization can do to right this ship in a month. Let's do this on the show. Let's set a date, you and I, for August the 9th. I'm going to circle it on the calendar. So the date will really be the 10th. That's when you and I will be back on the air on the Monday.
Okay.
And let's see if 1 month from today, to Sean Coleman's point, the Braves look like the Braves did earlier in the season. And I think a big part of that is, he mentioned this yesterday, getting the middle of the order going again. Right? They've been, and I think you mentioned this a couple of days ago as well, they've been way too inconsistent offensively. I know they've got guys out. Obviously, that matters. But when the Braves were at their best, Diesel, just a few months ago, the lineup, it wore pitchers down from the first inning to the 9th inning. And right now, the biggest issue I see is the Braves lineup is not wearing and tearing on opposing pitchers. That's what I see first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, there's no consistent hitting from the beginning of the lineup to the end of the lineup. And it's kind of been feast or famine for these Braves at certain points in the season. At times, they can really knock out starting pitching, but at times, you got to get all the way into the late innings of the game, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings, before you start finding that success. And look, it's fun. It's fun to watch the Braves hit a walk-off home run or see Michael Harris hit a walk-off RBI double in the 9th inning, but that is unsustainable, and it's showing itself now. I mean, that was how they won a lot of games early, and it's showing itself now when you suddenly lose late inning hitting, and late inning hitting, or the lack thereof, could plague them in this ballgame.
It could. They've done a better job today. They've totaled 8 hits so far today, Diesel. Jarvis has gotten 2 hits. But outside of Jarvis, listen to this. Michael Harris got a hit today. Ozzie Albies got a hit today. Olsen, who's amazing, got a hit today. Baldwin got a hit today. Dubon got a hit today. So they're getting better. Last night was what was impressive to me, though. And you and I had just talked on the show yesterday about the Braves getting drugged by the Pirates the night before, just obliterated. And my spirits were down. And the Braves come back last night on Wednesday, and they beat the Pirates 3-0. You like that? 3-0.
There you go.
Your World Cup.
You've already turned the corner. Now we're going to have to deprogram you.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Get you thinking about baseball again.
The pitching last night was phenomenal. The pitching was so good last night. Grant Holmes, 5 innings, Diesel, allowed 3 hits in 5 innings of play, no runs. He walked 1 batter, struck out 5. Fuentes was good. Dodd was good. He got the win. Lee was good. Iglesias was good. So last night, as a Braves fan, last night I felt good for the first time in about a month. I mean, I really did. The pitch. The bats weren't all there. The Braves only had 5 hits last night in that win, by the way. The bats weren't there. But the pitching was dominant last night, and that was a little bit refreshing to see. Maybe that's a good sign of things to come.
I do hate to tell you here, Cole, but it might seemingly get a little bit worse before it gets better, because the Braves have a couple of tough series coming up. I mean, the Cardinals are a plus 500 baseball team. They're a good ball club. Yep. Then they play the Rangers, who are a decent ball club, the Padres, who are second place in their division. Then you get a little bit of a break with the Orioles, Mets, and Nationals. but you got to wait a little while. So you're going to have 3 series against pretty good teams. And then let's see, it looks like 4 series in a row against some pretty mediocre to bad teams. And then it's the Yankees. Maybe pitching can finally step up against the Yankees.
Well, the Yankees,
they can't. They just keep swinging and missing.
They're swinging and missing. But my question is, I mean, with the Braves, when they play the Yankees, you know what will happen.
All of a sudden, Aaron Judge is going to jack 5 home runs in that series.
They'll start hitting left and right. I mean, it'll be the worst thing ever. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. But
yeah, the Braves have turned into a get-right game for a lot of teams, and that's not where you want to be.
So right now, bottom of the 8th, the Braves are back on the mound. Karinchak is on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. They lead 6-5. You're almost at the finish line. This one's going to be iffy here in the last couple of innings.
We'll keep checking in on it as the show continues, Cole. But when we come back, talking about getting right, are the Colorado Buffaloes and those who are running the ship out there, are they getting maybe a little tired of Deion Sanders? Should they ever think about putting Deion Sanders on the hot seat? I'm going to argue on the other side of the break, Cole, that no. As bad as Deion Sanders might be right now at Colorado, he should never be on the hot seat. We'll talk about it on the other side next. Well, Cole, if you're in Boulder, Colorado, you might be saying the honeymoon phase is over with Deion Sanders, right? We had that one really great year. We have still a decent amount of attention on us as a football program, but we don't really expect him to win, do we? I mean, really, if you're the administrator of the University of Colorado or the athletic director, are you listening to anyone telling you that you need to fire Deion Sanders right now after a 3-9 season? Is anyone making any headways into your brain with that talking point that enough is enough with Deion Sanders?
So you said before we went to commercial break, Diesel, you said you were going to argue that they should never put Deion on the hot seat, right? You said that.
I did say that.
I, in my head, then thought to myself, this is what I thought. I thought, okay, we're on radio. I can play the other side. I can play devil's advocate. I can advocate for Colorado to maybe put Deion on the hot seat. And sometimes in a lot of segments, you and I do that. We play the other side. Sometimes we mean it. Sometimes we do it just for radio, just for entertainment, right? Just to disagree. It creates good conversation. I can't do that. I can't do it. Not with this. I cannot play the other side on this conversation and pretend like I mean it, because you know why? Emmanuel Acho, or was it his brother? I'm sorry.
Samuel or Emmanuel?
I think it was the one we were giving a hard time to.
That was Emmanuel.
Okay. People like him can do that. They can say things that are just outright ludicrous, and they don't care. I cannot get behind a microphone and say, yeah, Colorado should put Deion on the hot seat, because you know why? My conviction tells me, Cole, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said in the history of your life. No, you can't put What was Colorado before Deion Sanders?
Nothing. Not. I mean, you got to go all the way back to the early 80s.
Right.
So, I mean, the question I'm asking, do you have a higher degree of faith in Deion Sanders, you know, the personality that he is, being able to attract a highly talented quarterback to Colorado, or firing Deion Sanders and starting from scratch? Because look, Colorado has always been sitting in this position where you can't get anybody worth a damn, and as soon as you do, they're gone. And you're certainly not going to support them. You're certainly not going to get boosters for the University of Colorado football program to throw a tremendous amount of money at a no-name coach that replaces Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, even if he's going 3-9 every year, and who knows what his program is going to be. They're not projected to be very good this year. You said it earlier, 15th out of 16 in Phil Steele's projections for Colorado. They have a redshirt freshman playing quarterback. They are one of the least experienced rosters coming back this year. Deion Sanders is all that you have.
And it's all that you'll ever have. Deion Sanders is all that you'll ever have. So again, back to my point. I would love to sit here and pretend like, you know what, Diesel, they're trash. They're not any good, you know, since Shedeur Sanders left. And look, there is truth somewhere in this statement. There is validity somewhere in this conversation. Guess what? Two things can be true, right? I say that a lot. Has Colorado been good since Shedeur and Travis Hunter left? No, they haven't. That's a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Was Colorado trash before Deion? Yes, that's also a true statement. So both things here can be true. So we know that they haven't been good without Shedeur and Travis Hunter. A lot of programs, though, Diesel, to be fair, that are in Colorado's position, losing two talents like that also wouldn't be good after they left or lost Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. So giving them a little bit of credit where credit's due, if they're a coach, if Deion walks tomorrow, they go right back to being irrelevant and not talked about on any level.
Yeah, but he brought his luggage and his Louis. So did he have Louis luggage, or was it fake Louis, where after you run it through customs a couple times, after it goes through airport and it gets jostled around a couple times, that Louis Vuitton logo falls off, and it reveals that, it's just Samsonite.
Well, it was Louis at the time. You know what I mean? Like at the time it was. And like they were, that's where I think this conversation is a little bit tough. Like you do give him credit because his son was a great quarterback. Not Hall of Fame worthy, even
just better than anything Colorado had in a long time.
Ever. And look, I give him a hard time for being in the Hall of Fame. Colorado, I don't even know if they knew they had a Hall of Fame before Shedeur Sanders went there. So I just think big picture wise, Deion's the best they'll ever get. If you told me what day, what year, when and time the world would disintegrate and the good Lord would come back and this earth would be gone as we know it, from now until then, Colorado will never have a better coach than Deion Sanders, ever. They will not have a better coach. That's Colorado for you. Are they bad right now? They are bad. I don't know how much I put on Deion. I also don't know how much I put on the university and their, like, what kind of situation he's in, Diesel. He brought those two guys in, like you said, his luggage. Things worked out pretty good, but I just don't know. Ultimately, he's the best he'll ever have, in my opinion.
He also took advantage of the Big 12 when it's as weak as it was ever going to be.
Yeah. Do you mind if we pause for a second? Austin Riley's at the plate. He's 0 for 4 today.
Oh, gosh.
Austin Riley has the bases loaded.
Juiced with 1 out.
And
top of the ninth. With the ability to put this game away.
And win the game.
If Austin Riley can hit a single, they could take a 3-run lead.
He is
just
0
a single
for 4,
to the outfield.
and he is batting 206.
Oh, God.
And let's see, Diesel. I'm sorry to interrupt your conversation.
And he's in was in an 0-2 hole. Now just threw him outside 1 and 2.
This is one of those moments you just have to say, okay, here's the Braves and a guy who used to be a franchise cornerstone piece. This is live right now.
Yeah.
They're up 6-5. Can somehow, some way, Austin Riley.
And he struck out. Austin Riley, you suck. God, you suck.
He is so bad. He is so bad right now. He might be hitting less than 206 now.
I mean, and that was looked like a changeup or a curveball.
I think it was a curve.
At the shins.
Yep.
It was at the shins.
He's 0 for 5. 0 for 5 today. I think he was 206 at bat, and I just had a pause. Like it's that right there is comical to me right now.
Comically bad. Mike Yastrzemski up to the plate for the Braves.
God.
To see he's 0 for 2 on the day, by the way. He's not hitting either.
No.
Look, Deion Sanders in Colorado is a case study, Cole, in what happens when you are all sizzle, no steak. There's no steak. I mean, think about it. Deion Sanders came in with a 27-6 record at Jackson State, which is wildly inflated by the fact that he had Travis Hunter and Shedeur at Jackson State.
Sure.
I mean, that's like taking anybody out of the NFL and bringing them down to play for Western Carolina and say, wow, it's amazing that Tom Brady just threw 9 touchdowns against the team in the FCS.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. Then he goes to Colorado. Then he starts hiring up all of his buddies. He hires up, he had Marshall Faulk on staff, still there, by the way. Warren Sapp was on staff. Andre Gord was on staff. Kevin Mathis, Von Bell is still on staff. So he's getting big names. But just because you're a big name and just because you're a draw and because you were a good player in the NFL doesn't mean you're a good football coach. And if you want to try to do all of this at Jackson State, fine. Let these guys, let Warren Sapp cut his teeth he was a senior quality control analyst. That, I don't know what he was doing, anywhere near the field. But if he thinks he's going to be oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Mike
Yastrzemski just goes yard.
Did you see where that ball went?
Slam.
Did you see where that ball went?
Did that leave the yard?
That was crushed.
Wow.
Oh my word.
Like Mike Yastrzemski.
Look at that.
He just
ball
crushed
game,
that
baby.
Ball.
Sorry. We're watching live in my face. When I saw it come off the bat, I just my jaw dropped. What a freaking hit. He crushed that baseball. Absolutely crushed it. All right. Here's my issue. We were doing this in the first segment of the show, talking Big 12, going back to Deion.
Yep.
I understand everything you're saying, and I get it, but couldn't we argue that in the Big 12, this is a perfect spot for Deion to be near the top of the conference. I do think there's a lot to be said about what you brought up with the assistant coaches. Here's where I am on Deion right now. Do I think Deion Sanders Diesel can attract talent? I absolutely do. I absolutely think that Deion Sanders can attract talent. I also absolutely think it was a mistake to try to hire a bunch of ex-NFL guys to come in to fix the system. Sure. Where I think Deion's going wrong is the D word. I think Deion's going wrong in the development side of the football players. Mm-hmm. When you look at today's game, being able to evaluate talent like that guy did who you Googled last year and won a national championship, being able to identify talent and develop that talent, that is as big of a part of the game today as it's ever been, especially when you have these quick turnarounds and short roster lifespans. I don't see that in Colorado. No disrespect to Deion. I don't see that development.
But I think you only get one opportunity, Cole, to come out of the gate fast and hard and create a level of success for your program. And they did that, but then they couldn't sustain it from that point forward. So if you're another school in the Big 12, if you're Arizona State and you're recruiting against Colorado, you got more money. Yeah, a kid's going to take Deion Sanders' phone call because it's Deion Sanders. Deion. He'll go to Colorado for a visit. And then Kenny Dillingham over at Arizona State will say, yeah, but I win football games and I can give you more money because Colorado's never going to have the money that everybody else in that conference has. Certainly not the Texas Techs. Like, you're never going to be able to compete with Cody Campbell money.
Do you as a player, if you're a high school talent, or let's say you're in the transfer portal, okay? Because it seems like, Diesel, there's just as many people in the portal nowadays as there is in high school. If you're a high school player that's coming out of high school or you're in the portal, do you, and I know this is going to sound ludicrous, and Tolos would love to hear from you at 844-326-3663, do you care that his name is Deion Sanders? It's the same conversation we've had about playing for the A at Alabama or going, like, I'm not saying none of this matters anymore.
Right. The name held its weight for a little while.
Yeah.
And then the losing started, and that gets used against you in recruiting.
And what I'm saying is, like, if the dollar figure's not there, does what this conversation you and I are having, what it all boils down to is Colorado's not competitive enough when it comes to rev share and NIL. I mean, I know it's split equally when, the conference, but they're not competitive enough in terms of getting talent. And if you have a kid who is being recruited hard by Deion Sanders, but he's being offered by Texas Tech in the same conference a significantly more amount of money, well, who's going to choose? I mean, I don't care if your name is Deion, Santa Claus, or Mike Yastrzemski. I'm going to take that money, and I love you, but I'm probably going to chase the money. So I think Deion, you know why? Here's what I'll say. I think Deion would have been a perfect fit in a place like Florida State that had the funds, because he would have had the name, his name holding a lot of weight, but he would also have the backing. I just don't know that he has the backing right now in Colorado. And then that's all he has right now is his name.
If he was doing it at Florida State, he would continue to have the backing of Florida State fans and alums who would keep pumping that money in for a longer period of time, even if he wasn't successful. Remember there were people saying, let's send Deion, let's ship him to Florida State, to Tallahassee immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he would have come in and found some success. Maybe not. I mean, he wasn't going to be able to bring Shedeur Sanders. If it was a situation where he could bring Shedeur and Travis Hunter with him, I think, they could probably be a pretty good football team right out of the gate. I just wonder, is his ultimate lack of coaching ability exposed to the point where no amount of big name and aura around you can get through to these kids, because they don't care about that anymore.
That's my point.
I mean, for example, I look at it like this. Look at luxury cars, high-end luxury cars from 5 to 10 years ago. They started putting all these fancy buttons in there. The touch screens got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just seemed premium inside. Well, guess what? Now Chevys have that. Now Fords have that. Yeah. Everybody's got that. And it was the same way with
Bluetooth
radio, with beautiful locker rooms.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
The Texas and the A&Ms of the world could say, hey, look at over-the-top, state-of-the-art, beautiful locker rooms. Well, guess what? Now Colorado has that. Now Texas State has that. Now all these other schools have that. And eventually you can throw enough flash at somebody to get their attention. But what drives decision-making for top-level recruits has shifted to how much can you pay me? And am I going to win games here?
And you know what? I, as a college football fan and somebody who growing up loved Deion Sanders because of what he did in the NFL, I more than anybody want Deion to be successful. I do. Like, I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the Big 12. I mean, let's be honest. The Big 12 needs Deion to be successful more than anybody.
Deion winning at Colorado, Deion winning anywhere is a national headline story every single week.
College football right now needs it. Like, I'm just telling you, they need it. And I'm not saying like they can't survive without Deion, but like that, it's a great storyline. And imagine if he ever got to the top of the sport as a coach, because you could argue that he's one of the best athletes to ever play the game at the collegiate and professional level.
Well, think about it like this. After we've said we've had a whole lot to say about why Colorado can't be successful or is having a hard time being successful, I still don't think you fire Deion Sanders. I still think you hold on to him because he's the only thing that makes you relevant.
Who do you go get?
Exactly. I hate that statement. Who can we get that's better?
Never.
Truthfully, who is Colorado that is 15th out of 16 in that conference? Who is Colorado going to get that's better?
Let me think.
They've been trying for decades.
I mean,
since the last time Colorado was worthwhile.
Who in the Big 12 leaves to stay in conference? Nobody. I don't think. I mean,
You're pulling Mountain West coaches at best.
Who in the ACC leaves?
Right.
Nobody.
Brett Lashley's not leaving. He's nearby. Coach at Cal and Stanford, they're not leaving.
A couple of new guys there. I mean,
Maybe they can give Frank Reich another try.
Fran Brown, do I think Syracuse is going to be good this year? I don't, but I love Fran Brown. I mean, they're not getting that quality of a coach.
Right.
And the investment's not there. And I'm not saying it couldn't be one day, but does Colorado have that coming down the pipe? I mean, it's just tough.
The only name, Deion Sanders is the only name recognition you've got. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's your best bet. It's got to be depressing being around that program right now.
Yeah, unless things change. But again, I'm not saying Phil Steele's magazine's the end all be all. But again, like you said, he has them next to last predicted order of finish.
The most accurate magazine in sports, Cole.
It's what it says. And the ACC is the conference quarterbacks. That's what that sign said last year too, right? I don't know what the sign's going to say this year, but we'll find out next week. Diesel, you and I yesterday had a fun conversation when I was at Ingles. We talked about Luke Kuechly going into the Hall of Fame. We talked about Cam Newton being eligible next year, 2027. And that conversation got a lot of text and a lot of comments. And you said it earlier, Cam Newton's a lightning rod. We're going to continue that conversation with Travis Hancock. Bone of the Mac and Bone Show on WFNZ joins the show next, right here on the Fan Upstate. Well, yesterday we had a lot of fun on these airwaves talking about Luke Kuechly and the HOF. Also, the conversation turned into Cam Newton, and it sparked a lot of you Tolos getting in on the Joy Law Firm text line, also calling the show. We want to continue that conversation. Let's milk that cow a little bit longer. Travis Hancock, Bone of the Mac and Bone Show on WFNZ 92.7 in Charlotte, joins the show. Good friend of the show. Always appreciate his time. Let's start with Kuechly, and then we will get over to Cam Newton, Bone, as that was the topic of conversation yesterday. And I said, as a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, I really did fear the 8 or 9 years that Kuechly was in the NFL. I feared my team playing against that Kuechly-led defense. When you look at him as a player, Luke, and what he will be in the Hall of Fame, when you look back on the time you've covered the Panthers and also kept up with this organization, where does Luke Kuechly rank for you, and how does that change now with him being in the Hall of Fame?
Well, his career, it got cut a little shorter than we thought, but he, to me, is there's 3 or 4 guys you could say, but I think he is the greatest Panther player of all time. He may not have the greatest extended resume, say, of a Julius Peppers or a Steve Smith, whose careers were longer, but he played what? He played a handful of years, and he probably cut it short by 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But every single year that he played was Hall of Fame level. And so people will look at it and say, well, he didn't play the number of years that maybe an Urlacher or a Ray Lewis or a Derek Brooks played. But every single year that he did play, he was a Hall of Famer in every one of those years. And he's also a Hall of Fame person. I know that doesn't translate to the voting for the Hall of Fame, but you couldn't ask more from your star of that nature as a player, as a person. He is a Hall of Famer in every single sense of the word, and he was that from day number one. Some guys work up their way to their great careers. He came in great from the moment he entered the National Football League. And here's a little crazy side note to how his life in football went. One of our good friends of the show was Panther long snapper J.J. Jansen, and he tells a story that at the rookie meetup, when Luke was a rookie, they went somewhere and they were at a hotel, and Brad Nortman was the punter, and he asked Luke, like, "Hey man, how long you plan on playing?" And he said, "Well, I'm probably going to play about 8 years and hang him up." And then he played 8 years and did exactly what he said he was going to do. So you talk about a guy who's football world, and as soon as he lost maybe a little bit, that was enough for him to say, if I'm not my best, I'm out of here.
So Travis, when you're sort of baking the cake of what a Hall of Famer is, it's sort of this amorphous blob, right? There's accolades, there's stats, there's value to the team. Like if he's the most valuable player on that team, you could say that Cam Newton checks off a couple of those, but not all of those. So I know it's sort of a octopus with tentacles, and you get a little more of this and a little less of that. Why is it that Cam Newton, and we said yesterday on the show, I don't think Cam Newton is a Hall of Famer, period. Not necessarily first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's a Ring of Honor recipient for the Carolina Panthers 100 out of 100 times. But an MVP but a Hall of Famer, no, because there's just certain elements of that I don't feel like he had enough of. So when you're baking the cake on somebody like Luke, and then you can transition that into Cam Newton, kind of what percentages go into each one of those elements for those players?
Well, I'm on your side of this argument here, because it goes back to what I started with, that even though Luke didn't have the same amount of years as some guys, every single one of those years was a Hall of Fame year. Cam had moments. Cam is a Hall of Fame talent. You can't argue about the running skills and all he did for the position and the numbers he put up in that way. But I do feel like Cam comes up a little short, because not every one of his years was a Hall of Fame year. He had moments. 2015, I mean, certainly one of the great years of all time. but did he have enough of those? And his career also, by the way, got cut a little short. I think he needed a little bit more on the resume because not every one of his years was great per se. He had his moments. He had a couple in there. But if you're going by the quarterback, you think, well, Hall of Fame year 2015, another year here. I just don't think there was enough of those that justifies Cam being in the Hall of Fame.
You know, you said a minute ago that the player himself, and I agree with you, the consistency year after year, Travis, of when Luke Kuechly played, how he impacted the game. Where did you said you hinted at maybe he's the best Panther ever? Where does that stack up against other Pro Football Hall of Fame members from the organization, other legends? Because as Diesel said there are so many different ingredients that make up what puts you into the Hall of Fame. Do you feel that based on Luke Kuechly's short time in the NFL, it's a no doubt statement that you can make that he is without a doubt the best Carolina Panther of all time?
Yeah, and I think part of that is, he did step away, and that's his choice. But if he played even 2 more years, we're not even thinking about anything like that. Look, the other thing about this too, when I say the greatest Panther ever, and he is the least polarizing of that entire group. When Julius Peppers was in his prime, there were some detractors here, and then he went off and he played a lot of years other places. Julius Peppers' career is almost cut in half of the Panthers, and then Bears, Packers did come back. Steve Smith, obviously a very polarizing guy. He's got his hardcore fans. He's got some people that didn't like everything about Steve Smith. Cam, obviously, he's got his hardcore fans. He has his fans that didn't like some things. When you talk about the most beloved Panther of all time is Luke Kuechly. If he comes on the show and I say Luke Kuechly's coming on, it's 100% people go nuts because he was a Panther through and through. It's the way he carried himself. He never went anywhere else. He never had a problem. I think when you talk about the most beloved Charlotte athletes of all time, not just Panther players, it's that guy, and it goes into the way he carries himself on the field, off the field. We had someone text in recently that they live in the neighborhood of Luke Kuechly, and he brings in their recycling bin for him if he gets bored. So, like, he's the Clark Kent Superman thing on the field, off the field. I just don't think you're hard-pressed to find anybody here that doesn't have some memory or love for Luke Kuechly. It's about as close to 100% as you can get. And how often can you say that about athletes, especially in 2026 when there's such a microscope on everything, and he's above all that. It's amazing to watch.
So, Bone, with you guys being in Charlotte on WFNZ, you mentioned, let's say if you had Kuechly on the air, you're telling me that he generates that much more excitement than if you had Cam Newton on for a one-on-one interview?
Well, I think with Cam, he's so sporadic in his interviews. I think that it would be a huge thing, but there would also be a lot of people that say there'd still be a little bit polarizing of you better ask him about this when he said this or did this, maybe a little bit more negative. You know what I mean? There's a little bit more of, with Kuechly, it's just pure like, oh, and they all will share their memories of Luke Kuechly as a player. With Cam, it's a little deeper and a little more emotional because he's just a different personality than Luke, right? So it's a little bit different.
Talking to Travis Hancock, WFNZ in Charlotte. Travis, I've been watching your social media, or seeing pictures of this new dog that you just adopted. What Carolina Panther former player do you see in your dog? Just big, reckless, no regard for its own safety.
Well, he's got the appetite of Kelvin Benjamin, so that's one thing off the bat here. No, it's just, I mean, there's a little bit of Kuechly in there. There's a little bit of the, he's kind of small, so there's that Smitty element there where he's not going to back down. I'm just glad that you guys called this week because I was on I was on in Greenville, North Carolina last week, and I had him out of the crate when I was on, and I had to cut the interview short because he came out with a piece of baseboard from the bathroom. Look, I gotta go. I don't even know where. I still haven't found, by the way, where that's from. yesterday I'm sitting here watching whatever, and I thought he was chewing a bone, and I'm like, oh, good boy. And then I look over, he was chewing the door frame of the front door, not the bone. So it is, man, it is a great prospect, but you're like the coach at night that you're afraid you're going to get a call of, hey, you just worry every second of the day that your star player is just completely out of control.
Bowen, I've got one more question for you on the Cam Luke Kuechly front, and then I'll end the conversation and go elsewhere. But from a non-Carolina Panther perspective, from national media, NFL perspective, if you had to eliminate one of those two players ever playing for the organization, which would you eliminate, getting to the point of, hey, one of these players, the one that I'm going to keep, one of them played, the other one didn't even happen. We're going to pretend like it didn't happen. Which one do you think was more valuable to the franchise from a national perspective?
Oh, you're trying to get me in. This is not going to reach Charlotte, right? So this is, oh boy.
You're good. You're good.
I think that when it comes to national discussions and talk, that's where the value of Cam comes in. If you're just talking football players, then it's Kuechly. But if you're talking about the attention to the franchise, all that goes into that, the first take debates and all the stuff that happens this day and age. And obviously Cam brought more attention to the franchise. So as weird as this sounds, for what we do as a radio show and media members, obviously I would have to say that I would choose Cam based off just the content alone from that point of view. Maybe fans would choose different. But I mean, Cam carried our radio show at our station for he still does. Like, we could talk Cam tomorrow and people still. We had a woman call once that was very upset that you remember when Cam would come to the line of scrimmage and he would do that little prayer thing that he would do?
Uh-huh.
We had a woman very upset that she didn't feel like his prayers were genuine enough. So it's like, I mean, there was the gum chewing. Like, people, I don't like the way Cam chews his gum. I mean, everything you could imagine was that. And that's, for as great as Kuechly was, like, he didn't do anything like that. But so Cam created a buzz, whether you loved him or not, that, I mean, LaMelo Ball had a little bit of that until the Hornets said, you know what, you're out of here. But, nothing, I don't even know how you replicate ever a quarterback that call. I mean, how about the dancing in Tennessee where the woman wrote a letter angry to the editor? Like we had, I mean, every given day could be some controversy there. So you can't make all that stuff up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Travis, going into year 3 of Dave Canales as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, he's got that unflinching positivity. He never gets angry, at least that we see in a public-facing direction. Tell us from the Charlotte fan perspective, are they buying in on Dave Canales's sort of over positivity? Because from a distance, it looks kind of Ted Lasso-y. Are they feeling it? Are the fans feeling it? Are the players fully buying in?
I feel like they're feeling it more now because they got better last year and made the playoffs. I think prior to that, you're right, it was Mr. Rogers like a little bit where, he would come out on his pressers and say, oh, it's Wednesday. I love it. And the dude loves everything. Wednesdays, the sunshine. I mean, it's like, all right, enough. Just go win some games. And that started to trend that direction last year. Yeah, there hasn't really been, a lot of necessarily negativity towards Canales right now. Now they could open up against the Bears and all of a sudden, here comes fire Dave Canales. We know how that goes. I think also the one thing about him that people worried about, and quite frankly, I did too, was that maybe his play calling was not his strength. And he looked a little overwhelmed at times with trying to manage the game and trying to, sometimes it's like, man, get your head out of the play sheet and let's focus on that challenge or that time, whatever. And he gave up play calling to Brad Idzik this year. And he brought in Darrell Bevel, an experienced guy, to sort of be the guy between the two. So I thought that was a pretty big move. A guy that took so much pride in play calling, and 3 years in, he said, you know what, I gotta make a move here. Now, they'll still be his plays, but the fact that he, in year 3, already said, you know what, I need to make an adjustment, I think that's pretty commendable that he's been willing to do that. So I think the fans kind of respect that in a way of, hey, look, this guy could have just said, I'm not giving this up, but he did. So we'll see if it works. But I think that was a move that a lot of fans say, hey, you know what? We like that move.
Travis, you're the best. Always appreciate your time. Appreciate you joining the wild conversation that continues to be Cam Newton. Yeah. And we always look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Yeah, we will talk to you tomorrow on our show, and always appreciate you guys.
You bet. Bone, Travis Hancock of WFNZ. I love that conversation. He's right. And you said it a few minutes ago about Cam being a lightning rod. And that's what Cam has going for him, even though he's 5 years removed from playing NFL football.
Yeah.
We're still talking about Cam Newton 5 years later.
I think Cam Newton could, Cole, if he screwed his head on right and dedicated himself to it, I think Cam Newton would have a better shot of going into the Hall of Fame as a broadcaster than as a player. Because if you get that ultra positive Cam Newton, that guy, he's infectious. He's like oh gosh, blanking on his name. The quarterback that
RG3?
No, not RG3. Quarterback who we see cover all kinds of sports and we love it when Jameis Winston. He's got a little bit of Jameis Winston in him but he's not as all over the place as Jameis Winston. I think Cam could be a phenomenal broadcaster, and I would say he has a better chance of doing that.
Yeah, I'm with you. He is an exceptional, charismatic guy.
Yeah.
He's very charismatic, and I think that he has that going for him. I do. I think, he loves the debate. He loves the debate show style. So it'll be interesting. And good for Luke. We spend a lot of time, but good for Luke.
When we come back, I should have asked Travis who he thinks, if Cam Newton doesn't get in, who is the next Carolina Panther to go into the Hall of Fame? Are we still waiting to figure out who that's going to be?
Yeah.
Is that going to be a while before we find out the answer to that question? When we come back, Cole, let's see what else is happening in the sports world. We'll do our whip around, cover a little bit of everything all in one go. Our Daily Wires next. Let's go rapid fire, Cole, on the biggest sports topics of the day. These are our daily wires.
Buzz.
The buzz
The
around
buzz.
the sports world. 13 World Cup players have been named to the Major League Soccer All-Star roster, including Lionel Messi, Tim Ream, Matt Freese. I don't know why Tim Ream is on there. I mean, he couldn't even stop a goal. Matt Freese shouldn't be on there either after giving up a 4-1 performance. Sebastian Berhalter is on the team as well. The way the All-Star game works in the MLS, Cole, it's not inside of the MLS. It's actually against Mexico's All-Stars. So the MLS All-Stars will play the Liga MX All-Stars. That would be Mexico's highest professional level of soccer on July 29th in Charlotte.
How about that?
We should ask Bone if he's going to that.
Yeah, a big event coming up to CLT. I like it.
Yeah. Justin Bieber, Cole, I know you're excited about this. He has been added as a co-headliner for the first ever FIFA World Cup final halftime show.
Okay, I'm in. Yeah,
you got a
I'm
halftime
in.
show
Yeah.
for the World Cup now,
I'm
something
in.
they've never done before.
Okay.
He'll join Madonna, Shakira, and BTS July 19th
Can't wait for
at
that.
MetLife Stadium in New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on my calendar right now, and I'm going to mark that down. Yes,
I mean,
done.
tell
I'm
me
in.
that. Tell me if an aging boy band pop star, a Korean boy band pop group, Shakira and Madonna, aren't they the perfect halftime show though?
Yeah.
For soccer?
Yeah.
I think so too. Stefan Diggs's accuser in a male sexual assault case has provided over 100 pages of text messages and other communications to support his claim in court. His name is Christopher Griffith. He alleges that he was drugged and assaulted at Stefan Diggs's home, which
Ow.
Diggs denies.
Ow, not good.
Yeah,
not a good look.
at all.
That Stefan's always in the news for something.
The Braves have won 2 in a row. How about it, Cole? They beat the Pirates last night 3-0, thanks to a 2-run home run from former Pirate Joey Bart in the 8th. Drake Baldwin knocked in a 3rd run for the Braves last night. But today, that's when the fireworks happened.
Ooh.
Mike Yastrzemski went yard in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs and the bases loaded for the Braves to beat the Pirates 10-5. They take the series, and we can all exhale. The Braves are winning again.
I mean, it's a big deal. And again, I said earlier, it's not about who you beat. It's about right now trying to get that confidence and mojo back for your team. And look, you took 2 of 3 from the Pirates after they obliterated you in game 1. And I like that bounce back, winning 2 in a row, getting a little mojo back. And that game was worrying me right there at the end because I thought, man, the Pirates get a guy on base and they can end this thing. You know, it's at their house, at their stadium. And Mike Yastrzemski, what a swing. That ball was gone.
Speaking of Mikes and big swings, Mike Trout came off the injured list for the Angels after a 17-game absence, Cole, and he slugged a 2-run home run in a 13-1 victory over the Rangers. That happened yesterday.
Love it.
So he's back out there. He's swinging the bat well again. This is fun, Cole. If you're a fantasy football fan, Yahoo Fantasy Sports has launched a brand new college fantasy football platform for the upcoming season. It'll have all FBS programs and Notre Dame. They say it's offering a new way for fans to engage with the sport. It'll feature a team offensive position and 10 starters per team with scoring very similar to NFL fantasy football.
Ooh.
If you like that.
Yeah, I do. I do like that a little bit.
That's going to be hard, man. That's a lot of teams to track, a lot to pay attention to. The College Sports Commission released documents revealing the amount of money they have cleared and rejected in NIL in the past season. During just a 61-day period from May 1st through June 30th, the College Sports Commission, via the NIL Go platform, approved $113 million in NIL deals and rejected $34 million worth of deals. This is what's fascinating about this, Cole, and we'll dive into it a little bit later on in the show. The average deal that was approved was worth just under $15,000.
Oh,
the average deal that was rejected was worth more than $51,000.
How about that?
So the big money is still coming in on the shady NIL opportunities.
I like it. But you know, the reason I say I like it is like this is where we are now. This is where we are, Diesel.
Yep.
Got to get on board.
World Cup action happening right now. Halftime, France, Morocco, 0-0. And that's why Americans struggle with soccer sometimes.
Scoreless, baby.
45 plus minutes of play. Nobody's done anything.
It's like the 4th of July, right before dark, when you just hope for explosions, but the sky is just empty. No explosions, no fireworks. Maybe they have France and who?
France and Morocco.
Morocco. Maybe
Morocco be a host next time.
I like it. I like it.
We talked about this earlier in the show. The Dundon family, who own the Carolina Hurricanes, are catching heat for engraving owner Tom, his wife, and 5 of his children's names on Lord Stanley's trophy before any of the players got listed. So, more important than Jordan Stahl, his 10-year-old kid, Sebastian Aho, Rod Brindamore. They even left Joel Nystrom off the Stanley Cup entirely. He played 38 games. A lot of critics are calling it selfish, a selfish move to put your 5 kids on the trophy and not somebody who played 38 games for you.
No, not selfish at all. The kids deserve to be on there, right? I mean, what are we doing here?
U.S. international and AC Milan attacker Christian Pulisic sustained a bone bruise and a microfracture in his lower leg. He'll be sidelined for a couple of weeks. That was confirmed earlier today. Quote, Christian Pulisic has been diagnosed with a microfracture and bone bruise on the tibia fibula in his right leg, suffered during the match against Belgium. They will be collaborating on a recovery plan. Next one up, Cole, Serbian forward Nikola help me out here.
Oh, you want me to help you out?
Nikola Kusturica
You're asking the wrong
has
guy.
reached a multi-year agreement to play for UCLA, giving the Bruins arguably the best European prospect in his age group and an early contender for the number 1 pick for the 2028 NBA draft. Kusturica only turned 17 years old in April and is 2 years away from being eligible for the NBA.
I'll text him real quick and ask him how to pronounce the name. I'll text
Kusturica. That seems right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it. Let's go with it. Let's also go to day number 6 of our college football storylines. We're knocking down the door of one more storyline today. Which storyline will it be? Tolos, college football related. Find out next. A quick programming reminder this time next week. Make sure you tell your Clemson friends and anybody else who has a team in the ACC to turn it on and leave it on. They should be doing so already. But next week, Diesel and I live from Charlotte, as you heard in that very promo at ACC kickoff, thanks to Kapasi Glass. We appreciate their sponsorship of our trip to Charlotte. Next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Diesel, we've already gotten several confirmations in from SIDs. We're going to talk Tony Elliott on Wednesday. That'll be a fun guest. Virginia had a big season last year, 11 wins. We'll talk to a couple of players on Thursday or on Wednesday as well. We've got to break in the new Peach Bowl CEO, and I'm a little bit upset about this. You and I had the Peach Bowl CEO on.
We love Gary.
Yeah, 4, 5 times, 6 times. Gary over the last few years. Gary's last name has escaped me. Stoken. There you go. Thank you.
I don't know how that came out of the ether,
out
of nowhere.
Good job. He has retired, obviously. So new Peach Bowl CEO David Epps will join the show on Wednesday at 4 p.m.
I was just watching. It felt like I was just watching. Maybe it was the end of the college football season. I don't know. But I think it was some sort of a trophy presentation in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I see Gary Stoken on TV and I'm like, he's supposed to be retired.
Yeah.
He's over here soaking up all the fun jobs, right? The presenting a giant check, holding up the trophy while confetti falls down. That's not retirement.
It was a lot of fun talking to Gary. We had him on several times, Diesel, over the last couple of years, and he was awesome. And he set the bar high for David Epps. Yep. And David will join the show, new Peach Bowl CEO, next Wednesday at 4 p.m. We got a couple of Duke players joining us on Thursday. Michael Strickland of the ACC will join the show. I just got an email back about an hour ago during the show from Miami's SID that said we should be able to get Mario Cristobal on the show. Sweet. Don't know what time. That would be awesome. We have not had a chance to have Coach Cristobal on yet, I don't believe, Diesel. So that would be a lot of fun. And again, we're having to reach out to all these SIDs. Hopefully we can get Dabo or a couple of players on the show. You know how Clemson sometimes can be with their media outside of their flagship. So we'll see what happens there. Not promising you anything there, but we'll see if maybe we can get lucky for once in a long time. And it's going to be a lot of fun. On the Joy Law Firm text line, Tiger Pal Rachel says, Braves are winning and my Yankees are losing. Fire Cashman. Yeah, they're striking out, aren't they?
Yeah.
Aren't they, Tiger Pal Rachel? I hate to say this. I don't feel bad, though.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend a ton of money on that roster. I understand the frustration. You have one of the biggest names in the game right now, if not the second biggest name in the game, in Aaron Judge. I understand the frustration.
Yeah, I do. And, you have a guy who's transcendent talent, right? You should be frustrated. There's no doubt about that. Yankees fans should be. Diesel, let's do what we have been doing for the past 5 days. We're knocking down the door, one door at a time. Biggest storyline in college football, biggest storylines we have talked about so far, and we're going to get to the phone lines in just a second. Dewey on hold. We've talked about Penn State under Matt Campbell, Trinidad Chambliss, James Franklin at Virginia Tech, Chapel Bill, and we've talked about Kurt Signetti. We're going to knock down one more storyline today. But first, let's go to the phone lines. Dewey wants to weigh in. What's up, Dewey?
Yes. First of all, second of all, good job, Braves. You won.
Yes.
It's time to get rid of Austin Riley.
Yes.
I don't care if you put his, I don't care who you put in that third base place anymore. It's time for him to go. His baseball career is over.
Dewey, hey, usually you are very far-fetched and you're outlandish sometimes, Dewey, but I can't disagree with you anymore. I mean, he is just god-awful right now. He was 0 for 5 today. I think he's right at 206, maybe 205 now on his batting average. And look, will the Braves trade him, Dewey? I don't think they will, but my gosh, man, like this, at some point, something's got to give. And you're right. He's putrid, as you would say, Dewey.
Why are they not sending him to AAA? If they can't trade him, send him to AAA. Let him figure it out for the rest of the year. He has not contributed nothing to this team this year. Not the big wins. Yeah, he's contributing to the losses, but not the wins. It's time for him to go.
That was actually pretty funny there. He's contributing just to the losses, not the wins.
Even the people who are supposed to suck are better than him. It's tough. He's making all this money. Yeah, he'll be the highest paid person in AAA, but either he goes and figures it out or he gets fired. That's what needs to happen. Now, you want to talk about the stories in the football? Well, I got a couple stories for you.
Okay, let's hear them.
First of all, this year will be the end of Dabo Swinney.
The end of Dabo.
Wow.
Clemson,
Did Dewey just read the rundown? Did he read?
Clemson,
That's impressive, Dewey.
on.
No, you go on. He just said he don't know how to read. Dewey, it's funny you said that. We have Dabo on the rundown. We'll get to that, but continue.
Clemson's going to be mediocre, and he's either going to, I don't see him pulling a Steve Spurrier, but I think he's going to retire or he's going to get fired. Either way, this is the end of the Dabo era. Second of all, Matt Kraft is coming back August 1st. Probably next week when y'all do y'all's thing to talk Miami. But I got a message for you, Matt Kraft. Miami's going to suck this year. They're not going nowhere. I don't care. Mario Cristobal sucks. Third of all, Indiana, they're not going to be what they were last year.
Why August 1st?
Gonna be on the, well, that's when college football fever starts.
Have you been talking to him? Dewey?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't
just
know where he
prophesizing,
is.
I guess.
Oh, it's just guessing.
Probably so. Well, Indiana, they're not going to be as good as they were last year. Probably middle of the pack. Probably mediocre. I don't know, but they're not going to be anything. Vanderbilt's going to suck next year. South Carolina, Shane Beamer's getting fired.
Gosh.
I mean, you are just on it today, buddy. On it. Everybody sucks. Everybody fired. Typical Dewey.
Here's one. Lane Kifflin is going to be on the hot seat.
What's his last name again?
Kifflin.
Kiflin.
Kifflin.
Kiflin.
Kifin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Where'd you get an L from, Dewey?
Oh, well, whatever his name is, he's going to be on the hot seat. That's going to be a story. There's going to be so many negative stories out there, and then all the NIL, and then these people who want to play football for 8 years. That's going to be the story.
So, Dewey, I mean, Kiffin's not going to he's not going to be on the hot seat for performance on the field. Are you suggesting that he's going to, I don't know, get caught in a sorority house somewhere doing something he's not supposed to be doing on campus?
He probably will too, because he's a dirty old man. But I tell you what, Bill Belichick, you watch him because he's going to be top dog in the ACC this year. He ain't going to be like last year. Okay. He's bringing the party this year.
Thanks, Dewey.
That was a.
Normally, Cole, this is your problem. You put content in the segment that our Tolos have been trained to call in for the Tolo takeover. It's 5 o'clock on Thursday. Yeah. Today's supposed to be the Tolo takeover.
And you know what, though? I mean, usually when we do Tolo takeover, guess what? They're slack. So maybe we're just,
just taught them though.
We're just, that's cocky for a reason. And Tom, you're right. They're calling.
Here's the problem with Austin Riley. Yes, his contract is gigantic, and there are some players out there who are third basemen that are going to be on the trade deadline, on the block before the trade deadline. Cole, the Braves they're not going to find a buyer, so they're going to have to package up a handful of their prospects to send out with them. A couple of guys that are going to be available. Matt Chapman, he's an all-star. He's a premier right-handed hitter. He is currently with the Blue Jays. No, excuse me. He's currently with the San Francisco Giants. There's rumors that he might be linked to the Yankees. Isaac Paredes, he is with the Astros. Cole, he's got a team-friendly contract. $13.5 million contract for next year. So that might be an option. And then Rafael Devers, that would be a huge get right there, a big name right there. I just don't know that they can afford his contract. His contract is
I don't care.
big.
I don't care who we can get. Send him anywhere. I mean, Guantanamo Bay, Rikers Island, it doesn't matter. I'm
putting Ha-Seong Kim over there at third base. Teach him to play third.
I mean, it can't be worse. It can't be worse at the plate. And again, we joked about this earlier in the season. Here's the funny part that's not funny about this. If Austin Riley right now, when he went to the plate, he was 0 for 5 today. If he just did not swing at all, he would be a better player than if he were to swing.
Yeah.
Just don't swing.
He swung at a curveball that wasn't even close.
And it's 0 for 5, batting 200, bat Mendoza line. I mean, it's just embarrassing. Let's go to the phone lines again. Cocky for a reason. You're right. I did put our daily college football storylines on the rundown, but we may get to it. We may not. Cocky for a reason. You're up next.
If we're talking football, let's talk football, right? Let's
do it. Let's do it. All right, give you the storyline for today.
Storyline for today is the South Carolina has reestablished themselves as DBU.
No. You have to actually have a good storyline. So
it's more like prospect you, because if they're not winning football games, what does it matter?
Doesn't matter, Cocky. So, Cocky, we've talked about Penn State under Matt Campbell, Trinidad Chambliss, James Franklin, UNC, a lot of storylines, Kurt Signetti. Today's storyline, you ready? And I want to get your thoughts, and I'm sure Tom in Somerville, our next caller, a big Gamecock fan, will have a thought on it too.
I beat Tom today?
You beat Tom. Congratulations.
All right.
Storyline number 6, as Diesel and I have been doing this once a day, every day, up until ACC kickoff. Is there, simple question, yes or no, is there a second run left in Dabo Swinney?
I'm a Dabo guy. Like I say, I don't know about he's got another second run because he is just now starting to dabble in the portal. So if he gets a couple of hitters on some good studs that can fill some slots that they need, and then he embraces the portal. Yeah, I mean, it might take him another year or two. I have faith in Dabo.
Look at you as a Gamecock fan. I mean, I'm shocked right now, aren't you, Diesel?
I'll give him his props.
Tom's going to take your fan card.
He is.
Ain't nobody gonna take my fan card. Hey, if you want to take my fan card, man up and do it.
Come on, baby. Okay. Come on. Anything else, Cocky?
No. Well, if you want to see us throwdown, come on down the street.
You're crazy.
Goodness gracious.
Thanks for the call,
Cocky for a reason.
That is the storyline. Again, we might get to it. We might not. Tom in Somerville, you can comment on today's storyline that we may get to, we may not, or if you have something else to say, what are your thoughts?
Well, Cocky, I think you're wrong, buddy. Look, will Dabo get Clemson back to the playoff? Sure, he'll get them back to the playoff. But it feels like Clemson has lost that edge they had for those several years. Now, what I would be terrified of happening is if Oklahoma fires Venables if they have a down year, and then he puts the band back together, because that could change things. That could change things. If he were to, he's already dabbled into getting back with Chad Morris. If he were to, bring back another elite defensive coordinator like Venables, then that could probably change my opinion. But with bozos like Tom Allen on the staff, he ain't gonna win another national.
What do you have against Tom Allen? He was really good at Penn State.
He's a cheesy clown, is what he is. Okay,
Man.
You go back and watch him. He might be a nice guy, but he's a clown. He's cheesy, and that just ain't gonna work.
Tell us how you really feel there, Tom.
Yeah, that was keeping it PG.
Okay.
But he fits with Dabo. The corniness and cheesiness all just kind of piles up, I guess. But I was calling because Dewey mentioned our buddy Mad Cat, and a couple weeks ago I was talking to him on Twitter. We were having a conversation about football, and I asked him. I said, "Hey man, when you gonna call a show again?" He left me on red, and he hadn't responded.
Wow, he did it to you too.
I don't know about that August 1st date there, Dewey. It might be a little longer.
Well, I can tell you this for sure. It won't happen on August 1st because Diesel and I are not on the air on Saturdays. So it won't happen then. Maybe one day. Maybe we, look, there are Tolos who are loyal. There are Tolos who say they are loyal, but the ones that are loyal, cocky for a reason, Tom, you're loyal. Some of them aren't loyal.
Yeah, you just got to stay loyal. And I want to say one more thing. I know it's getting into football and baseball gets forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm really, really liking what Schnall is doing. And I'm not trying to get too overexcited and get too high of expectations. But bringing in that coach from Wake Forest as your recruiting coordinator was a very, very smart move. A very smart move. As we know, Wake Forest has been very good the last few years. And I'm telling you guys, within 5 years, Snow's going to have that trophy back in Columbia.
What do you think about Terry Rooney going up north a little bit?
Hey, he can go wherever the good Lord takes him, as long as it's not in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, Tom.
Yeah, anytime he's left the program within the last 16 years, your buddy John Whittle put this on Twitter the other day. Whenever he has left a program, they have gotten better the next year. The last 16 years, the teams he has coached have only made 3 NCAA tournaments. When he has left, their record has gotten better drastically, and even the year he left LSU in 2008, guess who won the national title in 2009? LSU.
So maybe it wasn't Monty Lee or Paul Beneri or anybody problem. Maybe it was a Terry Rooney problem.
Well, I think it was more than just Terry Rooney. A lot more than just Terry Rooney. But, at the end of the day, he's toast. He ain't here. We got our guy, and we will see y'all in Omaha next year. Go Gamecocks.
Hey, Tom, before we let you go, which South Carolina road game are you projecting this year as a win, and which game will they absolutely crap the bed and lose to a team they shouldn't lose to?
Team they shouldn't lose to?
Mississippi State, Kentucky,
it's
Arkansas.
not going to be Kentucky. Kentucky sucks. We're going to go, and it's just because it's a place historically has just been a nightmare for the Gamecocks. We are going to go with Arkansas.
Ooh, Arkansas.
Wow.
Screw up and lose to Arkansas.
And they're not even going to be that good. It's just historically, for whatever reason, anytime we go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, it is just not good. And so I'll just throw that one out there as the loss that shouldn't be a loss.
Wow.
But, Beamer doesn't lose up in Daboville, so that's going to be the win.
Okay. There you go.
I like it, Tom. Thanks for the call.
Go Gamecocks.
844-326-3663. We did not have time, Diesel, to get to our daily college football storyline. The Tolos came through.
Do you want to do it next, or you want to push it to tomorrow?
We can do it next. We can push it. I'm good with either one. Whatever you're up for. We have. Let's see how many we have left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. 5 left. You want to do it next?
Let's do it next.
Let's do it next. Let's do it. We'll get to Dabo and Diesel. There's going to be I believe there'll be a couple of Tolos that have something to say about it. What do you think?
I would like to hear our Tolos, especially those who are Clemson fans, call in and convince us why Dabo will find a second run.
A second
run to me would be at minimum making another CFP semifinal or finals.
Okay. I'm with you. Yeah. I don't hate that.
Is that a run?
Let's define what that run is.
Okay.
I think that's a good question. Clemson fans, where are you at? We want to hear from you.
That's next. Well, it wouldn't be LeBron James, Cole, if he wasn't making it hard on everyone when it comes to figuring out what he's going to do. This was reported on NBA Today by Shams Charania that teams interested in signing LeBron James this offseason have been sending voice note pitches to Rich Paul.
Wow.
You're talking about going on your iPhone and saying, hey, Rich, we could put together this, and this for LeBron James. Zoop, that's how business is getting done.
Just
right now
quick,
between
to
LeBron.
the point, send a text, not even a text, and be done with it, right?
Yeah, that's how they're getting it done. Also,
I'd like to hear those, by the way.
Steph Curry. Yeah. How much begging? Please get LeBron to come to us. Please. We've never had anything worth a damn in our city. Yeah. We really need this. Yeah. LeBron James Steph Curry also was asked by ESPN's Anthony Slater about potentially teaming up with LeBron James, and his pitch to LeBron to join the Warriors. Do you want to play good basketball and be around people who know how to play the game? That's Steph's pitch. That's an awful pitch. Hey, we all know how to play basketball over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what he's trying to say is, hey, we're experienced. We've won titles here. We think we can win one more with you. That is the better pitch, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Do you want to play good basketball? Do you want to be
Use
around people who know the
ChatGPT
game?
or something, Use
At
AI.
least.
Come
Please.
on, what are we doing?
Cole, I didn't run this through ChatGPT because I already know what Clemson fans are going to say when it comes to what does it mean for Clemson to go on another run under Dabo Swinney. And that was the question that we left off with at the end of the last segment. What would it mean for Clemson to go on another run? Because I think some of the things that Dabo Swinney has been, hanging his resume on, for example, graduation rates, 10-win seasons, none of those things have the same ring anymore now that the standard is, are you making the playoff or not? So the question is, what do Clemson fans think the standard should be for Dabo now going forward? He is in the game. He is throwing money around there for the transfer portal and for guys coming out of high school. It's not the tippy top of the market, but there is money there. So what should the standard be if we're going to say, will Dabo Swinney go on another run? What does that actually mean?
Yeah, it's a good question. A run, I guess it's subjective to a lot of people. I think of a run as something with great value and significance, right? I don't think Diesel making the CFP is a run. And I know you might say, are you kidding me, Cole? Like, you're telling me making a CFP is not good enough? Here's why. They play in the ACC. Dabo made the playoff a couple of years ago and then got boat raced by Texas. So, that's not a run to me. Did he make a run at the championship? Well, he got in the game. He was at the table, but once he sat down at the table, the legs broke and he fell on the floor. So a lot of people would tell you, that's going back to it being subjective. A lot of people would say, well, no, making the CFP is a run. My definition is making a threat. Run equals threat.
Yeah.
That's what that's how I define it.
So I think to me, a run is over time, right? He's 56 years old. How long do we think Dabo Swinney's going to coach?
What'd you say, 56?
56. Let's say he's got 10 more years.
I'll say at least 10, yeah.
I think he's got 10 years.
Yeah.
So in the next 10 years, what does he consistently need to achieve? Because to me, a run is over a period of time. A run is not one good season or one great season with a win or two in the CFP. To me, a run has to start again with Clemson's dominance over the ACC, winning the conference, I'd say 4 out of the next 5 or 3 out of the next 5, winning the ACC, that gets you in. And then Clemson needs to find that dominant factor that they haven't had outside of the ACC. Remember, you knew going into some of those games in 2015, 16, 17, you knew that this was a team that could go out there and beat anybody on the best of days.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like they're there. They're not anywhere close to there.
No, they're
right
not
now.
there. Do you play you a rummy guy?
Never played.
Rummy's a very easy card game.
Okay.
Easy
I'm
enough.
a simple person.
Well, easy enough that I can play it. That's my point. Like, I don't play cards, but I did grow up playing rummy at times.
Do we play it?
Yeah, rummy's it's fun. It is about runs and the similar suits, the same suits, that kind of stuff. It's a fun game. The reason I bring up rummy, the card game, a lot of you Tolos out there probably have played rummy. A run in rummy, Diesel, when you're playing rummy, you lay a run down, and that gets you points. A run in rummy is a group of at least 3 consecutive cards of the same suit. Okay. So 3 cards, consecutive, same suit, that's a run. Diamond, diamond, diamond. I will say, to use the rummy reference, I don't disagree with what you said. I would like to see 3 years of Clemson being not only a contender, but like having the ability to dominate. So when we define run, I'm with you. A one-off, it's nice. Like if you go to the national championship one year, okay, you had a run. I don't necessarily think it's a sustained run, right? There's a difference maybe between a run and a sustained run, but I do think that a run, when you define Dabo Swinney going on another run, I think multiple years have to be involved. You're right. It all starts with those 3 letters. It all starts with the ACC. You've got to.
I thought you were going to say NIL.
Well, that too. Those are also 3 letters that matter. But you have to, in order to go on a run, if you're Dabo and Clemson, you said it. Stone number 1, you've got to reestablish yourself as the king, the hunter, and the hunted in the ACC. You've got to be that dog again. And right now they're not. Miami's good. Other teams are good. And that's where it starts for me. So I'm with you. I want to see some consecutive years of success. Do I think Dabo has it in him? I think it's there. And you know what's funny? I've always said for years now, Diesel, I've always said that when this new era of college football came to fruition, I've always said that Dabo, if he would have taken the bull by the horns, I think Dabo Swinney could still be winning national championships right now. If he would have embraced this new college football, NIL, and transfer portal, if he would have embraced it out of the get-go, I think Clemson could still be at the top of the sport. He didn't do that. They're not at the top of the sport. So I do think, like Cocky for a reason said, I think he's got a run left in him.
I think you've got to get back to a point where 2023 Duke doesn't happen to you. Where
God, let's not talk about that.
Where 2025 Duke doesn't happen to you. I mean, these are the programs that you should. I don't care if Manny Diaz is the coach. I don't care if they have Darian Mensah. I don't care who they have. Doesn't matter. You should be beating Duke by 2.5 scores every single time you play them. Home or away, doesn't matter. That's the type of program you have to be able to dominate. Clemson cannot be in those types of games, the Syracuse types of games. The conversation is, well, every time they play Syracuse, things get weird, and Clemson finds ways to lose to Syracuse. No, that's not who you are as a program.
The Duke one's where I felt like it started.
Right.
Like, oh my.
You just can't get off the mat. You seem unprepared. You seem uninterested in being a dominant football team. Like the soul and the personality of a dominant football team was not there on the field that day for the Tigers.
And how many times did that happen this past season? Like I was there, that SMU game. I was there. And how many times this past year did Clemson just get whooped? Many times. So it's alarming. Yes, Dabo seems to be heading in the right direction. But what I want to, reiterate, Diesel, is that none of this stuff that happens off the field creates wins as of yet. And maybe it creates wins down the road. Hopefully it does, especially for Dabo's sake. But we're going off of what's happened. And recruiting's great. Landing players is great. But that doesn't solve the other issues that you've had on the field, because at the end of the day, what happens on the field is where you're measured. That's where coaches get hired and fired.
Yeah, can we see Dabo Swinney reignite the fire in his belly? Right, that fire to go out there and the will to dominate every single opponent, because it's turned to me. It's turned into, hey, I'm Dabo Swinney. I want my flowers from all the teams in my conference. I want them to tell me how great we are, and I want to be happy, and I want to be buddies with everybody. No, your job is to go out there and beat everybody.
Yeah.
And maybe it's maybe need some of those quotes to start coming back out of the woodworks. I don't know. I don't know if that Dabo's ever coming back.
He may. And look, I think when you talk about him having it in him, I think like even the Gamecock fans would admit, and maybe I'm wrong on this, I think most people would admit that he has it in him, right? Like, you've been to the mountaintop, you know what the recipe is, but now, for years now, we've been saying Dabo knows what this takes to get to the top now, and if he does it, we think he can be right back. He hadn't been following this new recipe, though, for the past few years, and that's what's hurt him. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Diesel, when the cookbook changed, he didn't change recipes with the cookbook. He stayed using his old recipes that he knew, and that's the problem. They took that old cookbook and they threw it out the window, and they brought a brand new cookbook in, and he's still cooking with the old cast iron pan, and you got to get that pellet grill out now. Dabo hadn't got – maybe he just bought it. Maybe he's starting to trend that way, like I said, but I'm just big on, like, I see a lot of this excitement on Twitter, and a lot of it's from Clemson media, and great about these recruits. Like, that's great, but guys, Diesel, Tolos – they had an unbelievably talented roster on paper last year.
Yeah.
And look what happened with that really talented roster on paper. They got punked many times throughout the season. So that's why I'm just like slower on the hype than the other people. And I also think that we're back in the era now where Clemson doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. They have to prove it to us.
So at what point in the season do you think we'll know? Like, we'll have a good sense of whether or not that the old fire in your belly Dabo Swinney is back. What's the moment? Maybe put it that way. What's the moment that can prove to us that Dabo Swinney is back? Is it week 1 at LSU? I mean, a win against LSU.
Buddy.
I mean, if he could outwit
it helped
Lane Kiffin
with this roster,
that would be obviously enormous. I don't think it's going to happen. Not with Sam Leavitt, an actual experienced quarterback back there. If Dabo Swinney was taking Sam Leavitt into Death Valley LSU against whoever they might put on the field for LSU, I would say I like those chances a lot better.
I will be a little bit unfair here. And this is going to sound unfair, okay? And Clemson fans may not agree with me on this. You ask when that happens. When do we know, Diesel, that we're back on the right trajectory with Dabo on the field, right? Off the field, seems like things are going well. On the field, you're asking what marker, what sign do we have to see on the field that shows us we're headed right back to the mountaintop if you're a Clemson fan?
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little hard and critical here. One game's not going to do it for me. One game's not going to do it for me. And let me tell you, a win at LSU is great. It's not going to do it for me. I'm going to tell you, there's 2 games that do it for me. And this is asking a lot. But you want to prove to me that you're back or headed that way? I want to see you at least be really competitive with LSU, if not win it. And then I want to see you beat those Hurricanes in your own stadium in October. And I think those 2 games are the biggest games of the year. And look, maybe that's a little unfair. Let's say they're very competitive, Diesel. They lose to LSU, but they're competitive. More competitive than they were competitive last year, but offense was so stagnant. It was awful. It's hard to watch. Let's say they're really competitive, comes down to the 4th quarter, they lose at LSU. We don't really give them a hard time for that, do we? We don't really give them a hard time for losing close at LSU if it's real close.
Losing close depending on what the score is, because if it's another 10-7 kind of game,
depending on what the score is,
late in the 3rd quarter to finally get on the board and make anything happen.
Depending on what the score is, no doubt. But if they lose close and then they were to beat Miami, okay, you've got my attention. You do have my attention. Now, guess what? Here's the reality of it. All those other games matter too. That one at Memorial Stadium on November 28th, I wouldn't get Shane Beamer. That certainly matters. What about on a Friday night? That Friday night game you have this year, that one matters. You play, let's see, there's one more that I think could be Virginia Tech. I mean, I think they'll beat Virginia Tech, but James, don't trip up there. Don't trip up in Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Don't trip up Austin, Georgia Tech, Brent Key. Yeah. So I think this is a manageable schedule for Clemson. But the two games that you look at and say, okay, we're going to find out. It's early. It's LSU and it's Miami. Those two games in the first 5 weeks of the season, you will know who you are. And if Dabo is competitive and wins one of those two, Diesel, you got my attention. However, the flip side of that is, let's say he goes 0-2 in those games. He loses to LSU and Miami, which, hey, based on last year, that's a possibility. You know what I mean? If you go 0-2 in those games, I don't know that we're any closer to this conversation of Dabo making a run. Are we? If they lose those two games, or is Clemson closer to being back maybe in the recruiting world? Maybe those great talents hadn't hit the field yet, but I just don't know, man. I don't know. You got to prove it.
I think the first marker is going to be that middle of the third quarter drive when Clemson is down 14. Because I'm looking at this.
What do you do?
Situation. I think they're going to be down 14 points, middle of the third quarter, and there's going to be that drive that determines whether or not this team has enough fight in them to come back and get a score and make it a one-possession game, or are they going to screw up, throw a pick, make a bad play call, get dropped on a 3-and-out, and all of a sudden LSU's got all the momentum. They score again, then they score again, and you blow out City.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I mean, if it's blowout City on, what is that, August or September the 5th?
September 5th.
If it's blowout City, I mean, here's the conversation we have then. Lane Kiffin in his first year and his first game, pulled your pants down and just whooped you with his belt on the backside, and you couldn't do it. These will look. I get that he's recruiting well, but if it's ugly on September 5th,
right?
This thing, man.
This would be the guy that went toe to toe with Nick Saban for half a decade
and whooped him sometime
and won.
Yeah, it's tough. On the Joy Law Firm text line, RJ gets in. He says, last year, the Clemson media and other outlets hyped Klubnik as a Heisman candidate. I couldn't have rolled my eyes any harder. When I heard that, I knew those reporters were blowing smoke. I've grown frustrated by Dabo's stubborn attitude. That comes from RJ. RJ, I'm with you. I agree with you on that. The Clemson media and other outlets hyping up Klubnik as a Heisman candidate. I hate to tell you, it shouldn't surprise you. That is what they do. That is who they are. And I don't mean all of them. I'm not casting aspersions on all of them, but for the most part, that is what they are paid to do. They hype it up, and sometimes it comes back to bite them. Sometimes it works out, but you don't get that here. And Diesel and I are really, really fair. We try to just give you the truth of what we think. And Cade wasn't anywhere close to a Heisman candidate last year, RJ, to your point. So
he was about as effective as Christian Pulisic was in that game.
Quit.
Had to bring him back up.
He was hurt. They came out the news. He was hurt.
Which one?
Give him a break.
Pulisic or Klubnik?
Oh, Pulisic.
Yeah.
Give him a break. You're so hard on him.
He sucks. Shouldn't even make the MLS All-Star game.
Oh, my gosh. Final segment of hour number 3 next right here on the Fan Upstate. Well, Tiger Pal Rachel, who we love, brought up a good point on the stream. And we were just talking about Dabo Swinney, if he were capable, Diesel, of making another run or not. Tiger Pal Rachel gets in at 844-326-3663, the Joy Law Firm text line, and ask a good question. I like this question, Tiger Pal Rachel. Appreciate the text. It reads, so you guys don't think there's a chance Kiffin lays an egg that first game? Just wondering. I think it's a good question. I think it's a fair question. Diesel, Lane Kiffin, for as successful as he has been, I think Tiger Pal Rachel does bring up a good point in the fact that we need to remember, as good as Lane Kiffin is, Lane Kiffin's not immortal, right? Lane Kiffin's not immortal.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. He's a coach that's still looking for a championship. Do I think Lane Kiffin's going to have success at LSU? I do. I think it's a match made in heaven between those two parties. And I think he's going to have success just based on the talent. They're going to out-talent a lot of people. But let's play along with that question from Tiger Pal Rachel. What if you can have a lot of talent? Doesn't mean it's going to gel in week one, game one, Diesel. What if Tiger Pal Rachel brings up a pretty good point here? Are you buying it?
Am I buying? I mean, I guess it's always possible. Yes, it's always possible. You look back to Ole Miss, and he was hired at Ole Miss from what, FAU? Granted, he was hired in 2020, so he got started in a COVID year, and everything was wonky at that point. But in 2020, he started his career at Ole Miss. Remember, they didn't play out of conference games that year. 51-35 beatdown against Florida. And Florida, hadn't been that good every year since.
Yeah.
But year two, won the season opener, 43-24 against Louisville. So they beat down Louisville in the first full year. Go to second year, 2022. Big win, not a massive win, but an 18-point win against Troy. Level of competition notwithstanding. 2 weeks later, they have their first FBS big boy competition, 42-0 win over Georgia Tech. So Lane Kiffin's been victimizing the ACC for the last couple of years.
And what worries me is if you go look back at those stops you talked about, usually he's pretty electric, pretty quick offensively.
Right.
He can find a way. Now, to Tiger Palace Rachel's text, it could happen. Look, it's game one. And when you talk about the unpredictability, Diesel, of week one, there are unpredictable things that happen in week one. Also, Lane Kiffin, we all know what kind of coach he is, but his first game under a new staff, right? New terminology, new systems, new game plan, new quarterback, new game management, new substitutions. Those things sometimes in football now, because Diesel, sometimes those take time to iron out.
True.
So could those things happen and cause Clemson to be in this game a little bit? Yeah, they could happen. To your point, you said anything can happen. I just don't know against this Clemson team. Hang with me. Could those things happen? Sure. Could this Clemson team rise up enough to take advantage of those things happening? I don't know that I believe in this Clemson team enough to rise up and take advantage. Hey, guess what? In football, you can turn the ball over. You can throw interceptions, and you can fumble and sometimes still win. It's the really good teams, though, Diesel, that take advantage of those turnovers and beat you because you made mistakes. Is this Clemson team good enough to do that?
Also, remember that he brought a big chunk of his staff with him. It's not just Lane Kiffin and a bunch of dudes that he's never worked with before. This is a majority of his staff from Ole Miss. He brought players with him from Ole Miss. All I can look at, and I get it, Tiger Pal Rachel, you want to look at this through the lens of I'm a Clemson fan and everything goes our way. Season openers have not really been Dabo's forte the last couple of years.
Not lately.
So season opening record for Dabo versus season opening record for Lane.
That worries me maybe more than, hey, that might be the bigger concern there is look how unprepared Dabo's teams have been in the last few season openers. Georgia, Duke.
Yep.
I mean, last year, LSU. I mean, they just don't look prepared, Diesel.
Right. They don't look ready. They don't look ready by week one. No. Hey, Cole, we had a great conversation earlier in the show. We actually led the show with this conversation. We were talking about, in the very first segment, we were talking about our biggest takeaways from Big 12 Media Days and what we think about everything that's going on in that conference, because it has been a firestorm in this offseason. Let's jump back into that, see what we think about Texas Tech and their chances maybe to repeat as the strongest contender in that conference again this year.